Talking with the experts.
Hello and welcome to Talking with the Experts. My name is Rose Davidson from rosedavidson.com, and you can find me on LinkedIn, on YouTube and on SoundCloud. And today my guest is Thomas Green from Ethical Marketing Service. And today we're going to be talking about marketing as sales multiplied and sales drives revenue. And Thomas is a husband and parent to 3 children, an advocate of peaceful parenting, an entrepreneur, a certified Google Ads professional, and has recently published his first book, The No Nonsense Google Ads Book, which is available now on Amazon. Welcome, Thomas.
Hello. Hi, Rose. How are you?
I'm very well. So what's it like in England at the moment?
Well, we're dealing with everything lockdown related, so I'm not sure what it's like for you at the moment, but it's a challenge at the moment.
Yeah, I think it is for everybody. We're just coming out of lockdown here, so it's thankfully I think we'll all be together for Christmas. Will be very, very nice. So firstly, tell me a little bit about your book.
The specific title or the topic is Google Ads. So anything related to Google Ads, you may be interested in that, but it also has a specific chapter on marketing psychology. So I wanted to include that just specifically because I feel like with Google Ads, people focus a lot on the tech. And although that's very important, there's also an aspect to what happens after someone comes from a Google ad and goes to the site. And my opinion is that it's just as important to focus on the marketing that happens after someone gets to your site as it is before they do. So I wanted to include that just because of those principles that I feel like I can share within the book.
Yep. So can you just explain a little bit more about, how the marketing after an ad is, just as important as the ad itself?
The analogy I use is if you take it away from a computer for a moment, a Google Ads person would be, if you imagine like a town center or something, if you imagine someone going out and prospecting and finding individuals that would be a good fit for a local shop or something. So I would be the person who goes out and finds a good prospect for your local shop. And what I would do is I'd take that person and then I'd sort of introduce them at the entrance of the shop. And then anything they do after that is kind of down to the business itself. And that would be, going to the website. And all sorts of things can happen when someone goes into a shop. Maybe they don't have a good experience. Maybe they can't find the product that they're interested in. The scenarios are, there's multiple scenarios that can happen. And everything, Google Ads related would be, to come back to the analogy for a moment, if I don't find you the right person who's not perhaps interested in that product, then it doesn't matter how good you are when someone enters your shop, you're not going to make a sale from that. So it would be down to myself to make sure that the prospect is good. And then anything that happens after the click is then kind of the website's responsibility. So I would say it's half the battle is how I look at it. And that's the reason I included it in the book, is because it's a big part of it to not focus on the marketing that happens once that prospect is on the site itself.
Yeah. So how does, people complain about Google Ads a lot and how much they cost. So maybe you could explain in simple terms what are the benefits of having Google Ads over other, like Facebook ads or whatever.
I would say that the main kind of metric that I would focus on there is not necessarily the cost per click, which I feel like most people would be thinking about in relation to expense of a particular marketing medium. But what's important is the client acquisition cost. So, and what what you would do there is you'd focus on the lifetime value of a particular client. So what is a client worth to your business? And then once you figure that out, you are aware of what you can afford to pay for them. And so maybe it's the case that Google Ads is expensive for your particular industry, but the only way that you'd figure that out is by testing it. And once you have that number, you can figure out whether Google Ads is a sustainable medium for your business. So if you take to give you an example, the mortgage industry is a great example for being particularly expensive, because you're competing with, high street banks, and you can get cost per clicks of just very, very large amounts that perhaps you don't want to go into if you're a smaller company. But because most people are not a high street bank, they're, local businesses, I think that, the majority of businesses can do quite well from Google Ads, because it's the way I like to explain it is it's push versus pull marketing. Push is an example of Facebook, because when people go on Facebook, they don't necessarily go on there to be sold to. So they're going on Facebook and they're looking at their feed, and in a way you're pushing your marketing out to them. Whereas Google Ads, what you're doing is searching for a specific thing, and if someone searches for a particular service, all you're saying is, we do that service, and if you're interested, then go to this site. And that would be an example of pull marketing. And so there's an advantage to getting in front of people who are actually searching for a specific thing. Now, as I said, I don't think Google Ads is right for every industry, but from what I have, I think from the perspective of, is it worth testing? Being on the most popular search engine is well worth testing for any business. And in a lot of industries, it's beneficial for that particular client.
Yeah. So could you explain what a cost per click, what does that actually mean?
So there's a difference in the search engine between the natural results and the ads that are placed on Google rather. And every time someone decides to click on an ad, an advertiser is charged for that. So for easy maths, let's say, take a local example. Let's say you have a local plumber and they want to put an ad on Google, and every time someone comes from a search term, let's say local plumber, they click on that ad, and let's say it costs them £1. So every time someone clicks, let's say they get 100 clicks or 100 people that come to their website, that would cost them £100, because the cost per click would be £1.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay, so I guess the lifetime, of a client with versus the cost per click, how does that, benefit the business?
So if you're in a business where, let's say, there isn't any repeat custom, so you get a one-time sale and that's it, the lifetime value would be just that one sale that you get. Whereas if we take our example of a local plumber, there might be many repeat purchases that you get from, opening up that relationship. And there's a principle in marketing which says that the more that you can pay for a client, the more difficult it is for your competitors to compete with you. So I tend to like to get a return on investment for any client, but if we just take the lifetime value principle for a moment, if you were to calculate that on average, a plumber might get 3 jobs from a particular new client of theirs, then it might be well worth not making any money from that initial customer purchase in order to acquire that client for the profit of the 2 future jobs. And so what you can afford to pay for acquiring that client might be, let's say, £100, for example. And then what you can afford to pay, and that metric is within Google Ads because you can track everything that happens within the platform.
Yeah, I like Google Analytics. I really like it a lot because it is easy to track, so much, and they've done a great job in how they've organised what they do, so that people can track. They can track even, Facebook ads. They can still track those on their website. So through Google Analytics, it's really amazing.
Do you have experience with any, advertising online?
I don't tend to advertise online much. I usually just sort of advertise in groups. I haven't. I've been approached by AdSense to use their services, but I was a bit hesitant to go ahead with it. I think it was the initial outlay that scared me a little bit. So yeah.
And do you intend on monetizing the YouTube channel that you have?
Eventually, yeah, eventually. I think it will be well worth it. I think there's a lot of value in all of these videos and the podcast itself. So yeah, I do intend to do that down the track once it gets a bit more well known. I don't want to start doing it just yet because it's still new. I've only been going since July, so yeah, it's new for me. It's not new for other people, but I think what I'm offering is different from other podcasters. So most people just get on there and talk to themselves to a screen, where I'm actually interviewing people and other business owners, entrepreneurs, authors, whatever, on their perspective of what value they can bring to other business owners. So yeah, it's
yeah. Well, I feel
I don't think that's happening too much in this sort of podcast space.
Because I had a look at some of the episodes that you've done on the YouTube channel, and I feel like I know you a lot more than I actually do, because of the fact that I've watched some episodes, and although we've only met today, I feel like we've got that relationship because I've been watching you, on your episodes.
Oh, isn't that lovely? Thank you. At least someone's watching.
Well, I wanted to ask you about your book, because you said that you co-authored a book, and it's done really well. So
yeah, it's not a business book. It's not a business book. It's a women, I guess, who've been through trauma and come out the other side are sharing their experience. So yeah.
Okay.
But thank you for asking. Yeah, I was really excited about that.
I'm happy to go into that conversation, but I feel like it could take a turn from what we were talking about.
And not what this episode's about, no. So tell me, you are a certified Google Ads professional. What does it take to become a Google Ads professional, certified through Google?
The short answer to that is the exams. So you can become certified just through doing the exams that Google have created. There's about 5 or 6 different ones, and I have passed every single one of them. You have to take them every 1 or 2 years. And so if you've been in it for a while, the exams get fairly monotonous to do. But yeah, me and my team are all certified Google Ads professionals.
Right, and so you're based obviously in the UK, as I said earlier. Do you have clients overseas, or are they just based in the UK?
Yeah, we do. I have done some work for people in Australia, and we have current clients in the US. So the fact that it's all done via the internet kind of removed any boundaries, especially with stuff like Zoom and Skype regarding, physical location. So you're competing with the whole world if you're in that particular industry.
Absolutely. I think COVID had its pluses in far as, more people getting on the internet to do business. It's forced them to innovate, businesses that were normally a face-to-face business and have now had to shift and become more innovative and go online and do their thing. And it's been a great thing. And I do believe that this will be the new normal. I don't care what anyone says. I think more internet business will be done in the future because it costs less. It costs less.
Yeah.
I mean, what does it cost you to have a Skype or a YouTube or a Zoom call? Really nothing. You don't have to drive anywhere. You don't have to fly anywhere. You can email people the documents if need be, or you can even message them. So, it's cheap. It's a cheap way of doing business.
That have had to innovate their business in some way?
Sorry?
Have you had any guests that have had to completely change their business?
Yeah, I think I've had a couple of them. They were, well, perhaps maybe not my guests, but I know people that either in my business circle or friends of mine that have had to actually pivot their business because I hate that word, but it just seems to like flow off the tongue, doesn't it? Pivot. Anywho.
No, you go ahead.
No, go on. You're the guest. You speak.
I was going to say it's like a political term, a pivot.
It is, isn't it? And I find it really icky, but it's the word of the decade, I think, or word of the year. Pivot. So tell me a little bit about your background. You were in a finance position before you decided that you hated it so much that you'd start your own business. So what exactly were you doing, and why did you hate it so much?
Well, initially, this is going back a way now. I did start a little while ago a video production company. And it's what some people would refer to as a quote unquote side hustle. But in order to, it wasn't a full-time, it didn't have the ability at the time to be a full-time business. So I did have to, support myself with a job, which was supposed to be a, stopgap type job. So a year, I thought I'd be in it for that long because I was also studying at the same time. And it turned out that I had been there for 5 years, and I changed from being part-time to full-time, and I could see myself in this job for far too long. And
you'd die there, yeah.
there were people that had been there for decades, and although I don't see anything wrong with being in that industry if that's what you like to do, but I just felt like enough was enough. And I didn't have any clients in, starting my marketing agency. I just had done the exams that I told you about, and I knew that it was potentially a valid business at the time. And so because I'd hit 5 years, and because it had come to the end of, it was going to be the end of the year, so I would have been going into my 6th year of being at that company, I decided that whatever was going to happen, I was going to leave that job at the end of the year. So my last day was on New Year's Eve, and I was going to start a new venture on 1st of January, start scratch from a new year. And whatever it took, whatever it takes to make it in the business, I was going to do it. So it took some sacrifice, and I worked on. I worked ridiculous hours, and I didn't really take any holidays. And, I got married at some stage, and I worked on my honeymoon. But eventually things have changed for me a little bit now, because it gets into the topic of systemizing a business and replacing yourself in that business. So you're not doing absolutely everything. So it has the ability to quote unquote scale. But yeah, that's kind of the summary of that story, if you like.
Yeah, I think people need to take a leap of faith and really just go out there and back themselves. If they've got a great idea and they've got great skills and a great skill set, sometimes if you just want to leave the job that doesn't fulfill you, and you can go and start out on your own. I think, the leap of faith and backing yourself is really important, even if it takes time. And not everything, happens overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day, as they say. So yeah, it's yeah, and I take my hat off to people who, back themselves, and don't shy away from a challenge. I think challenges are great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I did have another thing which may help if someone's considering doing that is I had a little bit of savings, and I thought that if I made absolutely no revenue in that time, how long could I actually survive attempting to make that revenue? So I had about 3 months worth. So I can sustain myself for 3 months. So after 3 months, I have to have, done something, and I didn't have to use it all. So.
Oh, that's good stuff. Yay. And got married in the meantime. My God.
Yeah.
Big ask.
Yeah, and I've got 3 little ones in that time as well, and one of them is
Wow.
6 weeks. So if
Oh,
I get a little
wow.
bit tired, it's because of the
Yeah,
fact that I've got.
I understand that totally. All right, Thomas, where can people find you if they're trying to look for you?
The easiest way, I would say, is if you go to ethicalmarketingservice.com, then all the social links are at the bottom, and you can choose whatever way that you want to follow my content. As I said, I upload regularly on social. So if you're looking for free content, that's what I do. I don't do a lot of pitching or anything, but yeah, it's just valuable content, as much as I can do anyway.
Yeah, I think adding value to other people, I think is good for the soul. What do I think?
Yeah, it means that you don't have to, do something that you're not comfortable with. So I don't like to be heavy on pitching all the time, and if I can help someone, then it makes me feel good. So
Absolutely, that's how I feel exactly. If I can help just one person, then my days is wonderful. Love it.
good.
Anyway, Thomas, thank you so much for your time today, and I hope that we can chat again on a similar topic sometime in the future.
I appreciate you having me on, and I'll be looking out for how the YouTube channel is getting on. And thank you for your contribution. You've done a lot of work, so thank you for that.
Oh, thank you. All right, we'll talk again soon.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for your company on Talking with the Experts. If you'd like to follow any of my channels, you can find them on SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, Anchor, and of course on YouTube. Sponsorship places are now available. And if you'd like to be a sponsor for Talking with the Experts, then you can contact me and I will be happy to share with you further details. I look forward to your company again. Bye for now.